down the hammer and pick up the pencil. You're about to listen to the Savvy Radio Show. Learn from real-life real estate investors, experience revealed with the Savvy Landlord as your host.
Hey, you tuned in to the Savvy Radio Show. This is your friends. What? Steve VanCauwenbergh. You tuned in to life in the real world trenches. That's right. I'm talking about worldly life, parenting, investing, real estate, entrepreneur, all the above encompass. That's just life in general. You can't compartmentalize your life. They all bleed. For example, I was just in the line to pick up my daughter at her first day of piano lessons. Yep, bing, bang. If you follow me on Facebook, you'll see that we went and bought her a keyboard / piano / I don't know what it was, but it was reasonable. She's motivated, and that's rule number 1 or episode number 1. You got to strike when the iron is hot. I love it. I learned this from my mom. She was, if you know the cooking guy, Emerald, he's like, turn it up a notch, strike when the iron is hot. And that's also Jim Rome. Hey, if you feeling you need to lose weight, drop and do 50, whatever it takes. You know, if my daughter says, hey, I want to learn piano, absolutely, we sign her up. Now, a lot of people, man, it's expensive. It is. But, man, when I started dipping into it, I'm like, okay, keyboard, $200, little pedal, stand. I mean, the whole thing costs $300. And I asked myself, I always operate, what's the worst thing that could happen? I could sell it on Facebook Marketplace for $200 risk. I don't know. I could sell it for $150 brand new, or I could just return it back to Amazon. It would be a hassle, but it's possible. But see, you gotta just fight, and you gotta strike when the iron's hot. If you're motivated, then jump on it. If you're not, then get motivated. Whatever you need to do, but strike when the iron's hot. When I was waiting for my daughter, I was working in the car, taking notes on things I need to get done, planning my next day, and also doing a report, giving my partner an update on what we're doing, working on systems and policies and procedures. See, you got to be nimble. You got to be available. You got to be ready, and life bleeds into your business life. Now, the cool thing is I don't let it consume me. Let it bleed, but it doesn't consume. Strike when the iron's hot. Anyway, so this is the episode today. We're down in the trenches, and these are just some random things. Now, it's on my phone. I'm reading this from my phone, and so it's hard for me to see. It's micro, and I can't blow it up for some weird reason. So I'm going to bang these out, and hopefully they encourage you. This is where I'm at. I'm going to say something. Hopefully it would uplift you, and you're like, I need to solve that. Just like when the iron strikes, or just that your life bleeds in, and you got to manage your life efficiently and productivity, all right? But number 1 or number 2, wherever we're at, I'm not even going to number these. I'm just going to keep rolling through these. Here it is right here. Give out your resume at an expo. No joke. I literally was at an expo. My partner spoke at this expo. She's a speaker. It's the accounting firm. And someone walked up to her and gave her resume. I was like, and she handed it to me afterwards. We were visiting about how she spoke and what could we do better. We had a quick snack. And we're over some cocktails there. I didn't drink any cocktails, but whatever, it doesn't matter. But I was like, I would hire her just for being that motivated. And I was like, boom, let me put this on on my podcast. Look, you didn't need to be ready. Like, I'm not saying, like, obviously a lot of the people that listen to this podcast, they already have a job, or they already are successful, an entrepreneur, or trying to cross over from a day job to a full-time investor. I don't know where you're at, but I thought that was pretty money. Like, I was automatically I looked at her resume. I'm like, we need to hire this gal just because she was that motivated. That's the kind of people I'm looking for. And so if you have a child in your life, or someone that wants to really reach something, like they want to be in the movie business, have your resume ready and go to expos. And, long story short, she told me that her parents taught her to always be ready. Be ready. Gotta get a juicy. Come on. Are you ready? Now that leads right into my real estate. Are you ready with blank contracts in your truck or vehicle? Absolutely. We talked about this, man, a couple years ago, having a acquisition binder in your vehicle. Man, I always have blank contracts ready to roll. You never know, and you got to be prepared. All right. Here's another one. Popcorn wholesalers. I just came up with the term popcorn wholesaler. They assume that deals are everywhere. And I was talking to this wholesaler, and he's like, yeah, I got this deal. It's 60-something thousand. I flipped it to my girlfriend for 3 G's. What? I was like, you did what? Yeah, just for 3 G's. What? I'm like, yeah, man, it's no big deal. No, it is a big deal. Now, if you're going to marry this gal, I don't know. But listen to me. You can't, this wholesaling deals are just not like popcorn where they fall on the ground and you throw it to the curb. You got to look at every deal and what the potential is. And so I was just like, what? At first I was like, I didn't bust my friend off, but I was like, well, tell me about this deal. Yeah, it's 60. I got it for 62. I sold it to her for 65. I'm like, okay. And he's like, it's a condo. I'm like, okay. I go, what will it rent for? 1,100. What? I'm like, what's the equity split? Oh, it's probably worth about 110. I mean, and he said it needs some work. I was like, are you serious? No, I don't know I don't know if this is you, but listen, this is opportunity. They're scarce, and you got to build your thing, what you're doing. That's great. You're going to marry this girl? Great. But listen, don't just be giving away assets, unless not for $3,000. Like the minimum I think a wholesaler should make on every transaction is at least $5,000. That's just me. And I mean, the number that I look for is $10,000, just because of marketing, execution, time away, opportunity costs, all these great things. But that money is whack in my mind. You've got to consider the infinite return. This dude, this friend of mine, if he would have just gobbled this asset up, he would have got a no money down deal, and he probably would have been cash flowing $400 a month. Bang, bang. Okay. Now, $400 a month, let's just say for 10 years is $50,000. I mean, do you understand? It's an infinite return with no money down. You can just be blessing this girl. Would you take $400 a month, or would you try to get some, or $3,000? You tell me. $3,000 right now, or would you take $400? It would only take a year to get your money. Come on. And you own an asset with equity on your balance sheet, which you can go borrow against. And listen, stay focused. Listen, women, guys, girls, what are you trying to do? Stay focused. This ain't popcorn where it's just like you just shove it in your mouth and a couple kernels fall on the ground and you just like, no big deal. You know, I can just pump another pop bag. It's not that simple. You got to look at every opportunity. What am I trying to do? Okay. You have marketing costs, you have labor, you have mentorship fees, coaching fee, whatever. I don't know. Run the real numbers. What does it cost you? Infinite return. Oh, I could break this off for hours. All right. Infinite. What are you trying to do? Buy assets. Go buy assets. All right. Moving on. All right. So here's another one. So my son's playing football for the first time. I mean, and I'm going to be honest with you. I don't even know anything about football, right? I understand the game. I enjoy the game. I don't like NFL. I do like college, if that matters to anybody. Like, you don't care, so it's okay. But it's very interesting that my son is playing, and I'm excited. My mom wouldn't let me play. She said it was too dangerous, old school. Plus, we didn't have no money, so it made sense. She probably just said that just to appease me. And I'm so big. I mean, I feel like, I could be just killing people. But anyway, my son is, he's killing people. He's running people over. They call him Big Diesel. And I notice when I'm watching this interaction, there's so many coaches and so many players and a lot of moving parts to this game called football. Okay. And I noticed that the coaches on the side on my son's team constantly are yelling at these little kids, huddle up, just yelling at them. Yeah. And I thought to myself, they probably don't even know what a huddle up is. Did you explain what to do in a huddle? And I understand it's so obvious, but it's chatter that you don't need to hear. So when I started, I was like, man, it's interesting. So I watched it again on this game, and the superstar leader quarterback, and usually the quarterback's the leader, right? Usually, right? And so I noticed when the quarterback is not in the huddle where he's talking to the main coach and the main coach is giving him a play, the other kids on the field, when my son's one of them, the other coaches are yelling at them to get in a huddle. And I guarantee these are little boys, 10 years old thinking, why are we huddling? The dude's not there. And see, that's society. That's life. Someone needs to be a co-captain. Someone. So I'm going to take this opportunity, and I have not done this yet, but when I drive my boy to the game this week, son, when the quarterback is not in the huddle, you need to huddle these dudes up. You need to look them in the eye, and you need to get them fired up. Because no one has taught them this, but someone on the sideline is yelling at you. And you don't even know why they're yelling at you. They're yelling at you, get in the huddle, but your leader is not in there. So who's going to step up and be a leader? Now, granted, it's easy for me to say this from the sideline, right? I mean, I just sound like I'm some magical dude I can just pick up on. I mean, it's just life. Sometimes you don't know what to do. Ask somebody what to do. Or where you see an opportunity, you need to take that opportunity. In this case, I see a learning opportunity that I could educate my son to fill in the gap where the co-captain is not there, or where the coaching staff has not educated them on why it's important to huddle as a team. I don't know what that means to you, but kids don't know, so don't expect them to know. And I realize as I learn to teach and learn to coach, when people ask me certain questions, I just assume, that's my problem. I assume you should know how to write a check, or I assume that you should know how to wire money, right? You may have never, see, that's my problem. We just need to start from ground zero. You don't know, and you want to build a solid foundation. And when you see cracks, you fill them. You, as a mentor, when you're working with somebody and you see something that's not off, you bring it to their attention. Don't assume that they know. It's very interesting that the people that I'm willing to work with now, and just assuming after several years, and they have super success. I'm talking like 6 million. This dude I coach, there's a lot of nuances that he cannot see. And that's your job as a coach, is to see the things that other people don't see. All right. Next, moving on to the next level. So I don't know about you. I know I'm usually late to the game because you can make fun of me. But you know what I'm working on right now that's off the chizzy is voice to text training. Like, seriously, like I would write out like I'm doing right now. I write out this kind of outline, and then I just start voice texting or voice into Google, and I'm getting paragraphs. Now I have a training manual. Now, I talked about this years ago. You record your training, you send it to rev.com or temi.com. They transcribe it, you get it back, boom, 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 yep. But now, to speed this deal up, I just go right to Google. There's a Google Voice recorder. Now, it's on a Pixel phone, but it automatically transcribes it instantaneously, and I can share it instantaneously. But it's been wonderful for me to scale because I can train people faster, quicker, and I can get more information out. Speaking of training people, and so I was talking to a blue-collar dude that had a session, and he's like, man, I'm trying to duplicate myself. I'm like, yeah, I hear you, homie. And, what's the policies and procedures? Are you creating systems? And the guy's just overwhelmed. Like, he's just in the job all day, working every day. And I was like, I get you. I feel you. But once you put on a body cam and just hit record all day and then hire a VA to edit it all up, and then there's your training manual. Seriously. Like, if you want to scale real fast, listen, this is how I train somebody, how to operate the kitchen. We walk into, just hit record on your body cam. Go buy a body cam. There's a camera I saw the other day. It was like a couple $100. It was on a magnet, and it was almost like a GoPro, but it was real tiny, and I can't remember the name. Text me if you want to know the name. I have it saved in my Amazon cart. But it's a small little camera. It's magnetic. It just clips on. You hit the button, and it just starts recording. Bam! And you can get all that done, or you can go back and write a manual from there. You can get that video transcribed, and it's just off to the races, and you could scale big. You could grow. You can fix it. You could use it as training. La-di-da. All right. Here's another one. This is pretty common sense, but I was talking to some homeboy the other day. It's all coming out of my training here. And I was loving on this. I was coaching this dude, loving on him. And I'm like, man, you got to burn the bridge behind you. I'm talking to myself right here. And now you've heard me saw this. You've heard this. If you read any personal development book in the planet, you know this. But I'm going to tell you right now, you need to stop going back to the old school. That's Steve VanCauwenbergh. Let me just give you an honest example. This is easy. I continue because, I don't know, safety, complacency, I keep dipping back into single family. And maybe it's because I continue to coach a lot of single family people. But I mean, I hear about this dude this month, 9 deals. And I'm like, damn, I got no deals. And the dude, yeah, I did what you said. And click, 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 click. I got 4 calls, and he's like, and he locked up one and he got $40,000 worth of equity. And I'm like, oh, shucks. I'm like, good for you, homeboy. Just make sure you pay your invoice. But the reality is, I'm like, I got to stay focused. I got to burn that bridge. The single family world trying to pull me back. And I'm telling you, single family is off the chain. If that's where you want to be, I'm telling you, we could have conversations. I know people that are set free financially and they're done. They got 30 units, they're done. They got 20 units, they live in the lifestyle that they want. They're debt free, they get $2,000 a month, and that's where they want to be. Bang for you, okay? Not everybody needs 100 units. Not everybody needs 50 units. You need a lifestyle, you need cash flow, and you need to equate inflation and deflation, okay? And that's another subject on another day. But the reality is, it's about transformating from the old to the new, and you really have to put things in place so you don't fall to complacency and dip back. And I just struggle with this, and I realized I want to be a hypocrite. I told this dude, you got to burn the bridge. When you quit that job, you're never ever going back to that job, no matter what. Even if you can't buy a crib, a house, an asset, and you're losing money, you figure out how to go back and make money, or you invest with somebody else, or you partner with somebody else. Whatever it takes for you to move forward, you've got to burn that bridge. It's difficult for me to even tell you. I struggle with this on a regular because we are security-driven people. I got 3 children. I have several employees that rely on me. It is a struggle, but I got to move forward. This is where I need to be, and I can't be dilly-dallying with something that's not going to get me where I want to be, okay? Single family is off the chain. It has built a foundation for me that can set me free for the rest of my life. But I have other aspirations and other goals, and sometimes you're just going to have to burn that bridge. I'm going to have to just not go back to the RIA, not go back to the club. And when someone starts chit-chatting about single-family homes and how hard it is, I just turn off the radio in my ear. I'm like, yep, let's talk about commercial. Let's talk about $1 million deals. Let's talk about this residential property development. Let's talk about flex space. Let's talk about building tiny houses. Let's talk about buying tracts of land. Let's talk about raising 10 million. Let's talk about those things. Those are the things I want. I can't talk about single family no more. Now I'm ingrained in single family. I love single family. If a deal fall up on my lap, boom, I'm gonna close that deal. I actually went and looked at a house. I mean, it's been so long that I looked at a house, but I had a great lead. I need to talk about that deal later, but we'll talk about that on another time. But long story short, boom, just burn the bridge, move forward. If you burn the bridge, let your homeboy know so I can get you on my call list and I can text you and remind you that you're doing it right. It takes a long time. I know on my world, when I left from being a DJ to selling that DJ business, it didn't take me long to burn that bridge. When I owned the bridal show that was paying me $100,000, it took me a couple years to burn that bridge. But man, I'm telling you, I've never been back to a bridal show in like 10 years. I can't. I mean, maybe it's 7 years. No. My daughter's 12. It's been at least 5 years. I even went to a bridal show. Okay, and the only reason why I went because my daughter was so impressed with that we owned a bridal show. Well, not impressed with me. Impressed that there's a fashion show, and that there's they have a little doll that walks on the fashion show. Anyway, it don't matter. I burned that bridge behind me. All right, here's another one. I don't know where we're going with this, and I'm not sure how long. Hold on, let me see how long it is. Okay, we got 20. We rocked out 20 minutes. All right. I'm going to break off these 2, and then we'll break it from here. All right. You like this one. All right. This one is not from me. This is from my wife. My wife got a board, a poster board, and wrote on there highlights. And what I'm trying to tell you is you need to make a highlight reel of your own life. you gotta put your accolades. You put your resume. What you bought your first house. I don't. That's why they always put up the dollar when they make a sale, when they own a business, right? That stuff works. It works. I see it in my daughter. My wife got a poster board. I don't know how big it is. 36 inches by 24 inches. It's a big poster board. You can go buy one at Hobby Lobby. And she's like, your highlights. And she wrote on there, you hit 7 serves in a row, you made 7 points, and you won the game. Highlight reel. Oh, you got to. It's like a reverse of a vision board. Make your own Facebook highlight reel. Write down all your accomplishments and review this. I used to call this a success binder. And anyone with that coach, I go through this with you because there's going to be some tough times. I'm telling you, there's some times just recently, like a couple weeks ago, I wanted to quit. Like I had a bunch of drama in my face. It just blew up. I'm talking lawsuits. I'm talking foreclosures. Not on me foreclosing on somebody else. And it was rough. Lawyers, attorneys. One of my friends was getting in a massive lawsuit and trying to help him. I was like, damn, this game is rough. But man, when you got a highlight reel of all your successes, it just keeps you rolling. It keeps you moving forward. I just think that's outstanding. And I think you just never forget where you came from and how much further you can continue to go because look how much you've done. And so you could do this on Google Slides. You can make a video. You could put logos, your entrepreneur endeavors, your successes. It's your personal highlight reel like Facebook. All right. That's another one. Here's one more. All right. So this is a real estate one. Mold remediation. Seriously. I get a call from my property manager. This is extremely rare, but this actually is like just drove me up the wall. Hey, Steven. Yeah. We got a leak at the apartment. Okay, great. The plumber we hired, name brand plumber. Okay. And this is a licensed plumber with like 10 trucks rolling around all over Oklahoma City. Okay. Beep, beep. Got a truck and they all look the same, got a name on them. And the guy goes and looks at the job. He goes, for me to fix the leak, you got to remediate the mold. I'm like, how is that possible? We need to get the thing fixed and then we take the mold out. But we can't kick the mold out until we get the leak fixed. It's still leaking. Man, I was hot. And then I'm looking at my management team and I'm like, we can't find a plumber. I was like, okay. So real fast, I get on Facebook. Boom. I call the very first number. Boom. This dude, first of all, they answer the phone in Spanish. But I'm like, do you speak English? She's like, yeah. I was like, hey, I got this leak. It's in between 2 floors. It's in a tough place. When can you? She's like, I can get out there today at 5. Okay. Boom. She goes out. Now, the interesting thing through this project, this wasn't some success here. This sounds like it's about to get successful, and it can be in some worlds. Actually, this happened within 3 or 4 days. I got this resolved. It costs a lot, but it was interesting that my staff did not know how to remediate mold. So let me tell you how to do this. First of all, you open it up, you fix the leak, whatever it is, and you dry it out. Humidifier, you get that bone dry, okay? You could use a product called RMR80, okay? And it will knock down, it's called RMR86. That's the real name. And I'm telling you, this is I thought everybody knew about this, and I realized not everybody knows about RMR86. These mugs need to pay me, but it is the most removal of mold on the planet. You can buy it on Amazon. They don't even sell it at Home Depot. You can go to Home Depot and go on their website, and they sell it, but they only mail it to you. They deliver it. They don't have it on the shelf. I bet you someone's getting paid for that. But I was like, yo, open it up. Ton of blower fans, air movers, dry the dang thing out, clean it all out. Like I'm talking about wipe it down, no mold anywhere. Then you spray a compound in there, this RM, and clean it out again. And then you dry it out again. And then you kills the mess and you never have to worry about it again. Okay. So that's how you remediate mold. Now that's just the hustle way. I don't know if that's the proper way. You document it, you test it, you get it done and you move on. So it's interesting. So we don't have a plumber. This plumber goes out, this name brand plumber, could have took me to the bank, but I was desperate because there's molds coming through the wall. So I called the Facebook. First person, do you speak English? They're like, I'll get over there 5 o'clock. And then, boom, they fixed it, charged me $2 Now, I got taken for the ride. Now, I was vulnerable. I didn't have my team deep. I failed in that game, and I got stung. $2. Now, I don't know the mass of the leak. I don't know. Apparently it was extremely difficult to get to. It was in between 2 units. But I was just proud of my team to get it done as soon as possible, and we learned through the process. Don't fall victim to not having a team built with as many trades as possible. I'm working on a new book, new concept right now, and I started just going through some just random notes that I think that people need to hear. And one is, you got to be at least 3 deep, 5 deep of plumbers. And I don't know where we dropped the ball, why our plumber, this high-end plumber, didn't want to do it in the beginning. Our other plumber disappeared, and then we called another plumber. So we had 3 up, and they all 3 got smashed. So then I had to go to another plumber. And actually, it's interesting. I called a really good real estate investor friend of mine. He gave me a plumber, and this was another interaction that was very bizarre, and I'll just tell you this interaction, but so you just understood this. So I called this dude's cell phone number, and I was like, hey, my friend blank, 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 give me your number. He's a real estate investor. I'm a real estate investor. We have a plumber. Yeah, I think we can jump on it tomorrow. Okay, that's cool. He's like, but first call my wife and set it up. I was like, no problem, homie. So I called this other phone number, and she's like, yeah, you will be. And right now, this is September, so this is a couple days ago, but she was 2.5 weeks out. I was like, wait a minute. I didn't want to argue with this lady. Like, your husband just said he'll be there tomorrow. But she's like, yeah, September 15th. I'm like, that ain't going to work. Then she's like, September 13th. I'm like, man, never mind. She's like, how about September 10th? I'm like, listen. I was like, never mind. I was like, this isn't negotiate. How can you get from the 15th to the 10th because I said no? I mean, that's a negotiation technique called the walk-away clause for investors. But I need a contractor, and I need a plumber out here ASAP, Ricky. And so here's another thing you need to be prepared for. If you're new in the game, or even a veteran, I mean, this may resonate with you. Listen, people don't want to work right now. People getting unemployment checks. You know this. You see it on the news. You need to be prepared. I would spend a lot of time getting a spreadsheet out and start recording every single plumber, electrician, trades that you need and have it deep. When you have a problem, I want to call down the list. Like when they call me, my team, my property management, they call me. They're like, it's serious. Like they got roadblocked. Something happened, right? What happened was they burned through 3 contractors, and they're all busy, or they disappeared, or whatever. So we need to put 10 in the line. Okay, that's my goal for you. You want to go to the next level? Get 10 trades in line, just like football. I found out the other day you need to have 11 players on a football team. Might as well get 11. Get 11 plumbers on a spreadsheet. You can call them all down. Next time this happens, I learned this in the DJ business. When a DJ try to call me sick, 2 days before their wedding, I'm like, oh no, you can't cancel. And then I learned real quick to find a backup. You need to find a backup. Don't fall prey to not being prepared. This is your boy. Yep, Steve VanCauwenbergh. Hopefully this will help you. Hopefully you're encouraged. Hopefully you go to the next level. Appreciate your patience and time and supporting me. Hey, if you want to help your boy out, if this was valuable to you in any way possible, write me a review either on iTunes or even Amazon. I've written a few books. You can Google up SavvyLandlord.com or go Savvy Investors or whatever. Not SavvyLandlord.com, SavvyInvestors.com. I'd appreciate it. Much love. Buy assets.
Thanks for listening to the Savvy Radio Show. Glide online and listen to our other motivating episodes at SavvyRadioShow.com. Connect on Twitter at LandlordBook and always be buying assets.